The doll is back. I'm Gracie Cartier, and I have a lot to say. Welcome to What's the Jeuge. My guest today
is me. I'm your first guest.
Yay!
Love it. Good to see you, my dear.
Good to see you, love. It's been a minute.
It has been, well, no, let's talk about this. Transcend was how many years ago?
3.
Where does the time go?
Investing in myself.
And that's why you're back, huh?
I am.
Tell me what's going on. I haven't seen you in 3 years, but you're back. You're here in the Plus Life studios.
Good to be back.
I'm very happy that you're back. I think your voice now is more important than ever.
Thank you for saying that.
I'm so glad that you're back. But where you been? What's going on? And why the break for so long?
Well, to piggyback off of what you said, I do too feel that this is the time now for me to be back. So much is going on, so I feel like it's important for me to speak my truth and speak the truth on behalf of our community, on behalf of humanity, but also because I really took the time to really do a lot of work on myself. From therapy to, grief support to my hip replacement surgery to where I'm no longer in pain. And I came back here, you wasn't here, but I came back to, film some episodes for What's the Jeuge.
So this is the reveal. It is called What's the Jeuge? No more Transcend.
No more Transcend.
And what is the Jeuge?
Well, the Jeuge is everything. The Jeuge is life. The Jeuge is a bit of me and owning all the aspects of me. I think for so long I've kind of put myself in this box to where I felt like I needed to be one specific thing. But I'm made up of so many different things, and there are so many different things that excite me, that inspire me. And so I wanted to kind of incorporate all of that and make a little melting pot that is inclusive for everyone to be able to reach and grab something from that.
Well, kudos to you, Gracie, because, Transcend was a big moment for you and for us at Plus Life. I mean, you were an Out 100 honoree, and it all kind of happened very quickly.
It did.
And it's not easy to walk away from something when it's working. And Transcend was working. I mean, it was doing gangbusters. But you made a decision. You came to us and you said, hey guys, I need to take a moment. And I want to applaud you for that, because that takes courage, and that takes, sort of real clarity in who you are to go, something's not feeling right for me, and I have to take a beat and take care of me. Have I got that right? Is that kind of how it felt for you in the moment?
It did. It did kind of happen fast. And if I'm being honest, a little bit of it was, imposter syndrome started to creep in. You kind of feel like you're not worthy for the blessings that are starting to be, be bestowed upon you. You also feel a bit of responsibility. And when you do feel that responsibility, sometimes if you're not right and if you're not aligned within yourself, it sometimes kind of makes it hard for you to do that and be that for others. So I just needed to take some time back to reflect and to focus on that. But there was some other creative endeavors that I wanted to tap into. I started to do some acting and some modeling, and of course being LA's nightlife diva. But with taking that time and with taking that clarity, it made me realize that there was something that was still missing. And it's like the journey is never ending into discovering who we are.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have an aha moment, or is it, as you said, it's just a constant evolution?
It's a constant evolution, but I did have a bit of an aha moment, because it's sometimes all these things that you dream of having and dream of doing, sometimes when you get it, and then you kind of realize that there's still some fulfillment that is not there. And I think for me, I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. And I feel now that I'm here for all the right reasons. And again, especially with everything that's going on in the world, the time is now.
The time is now. So what's the Jeuge? As you said, it's just real, honest conversation about stuff that's going on in your world, or
stuff that's going on in my world.
Tell me about
stuff that's going on in your world, because
Sure.
I want to learn about you, and I want to learn about my guests as well. So it's how can we have this open conversation and dialogue to where we get to learn from one another and share each other's, experiences and different perspectives and learn and grow.
And how do you feel about it? I mean, you've shot some already,
Yes.
so we are doing things slightly out of sequence, because you have shot some,
Yes.
but even in that process, you had some more realizations.
I did.
Tell us.
Of course, when you're looking on camera.
Yes.
And you're always thinking about those angles. You want to make sure that everything is right. But more importantly, it was for me because I knew that I always had a vision of myself and what that vision looked like. And there were a few things that I just was still fighting within myself, and some insecurities and some doubts. And I wanted to be the most softest feminine version of myself. So with that, I went ahead and I did facial feminization surgery.
What does that involve?
It's where they take and soften those hard edges,
Right.
Soften, just help you come into the version of the woman that you've always dreamt yourself to be, to wipe away and to chip away at those masculine features, to chip away at a bit of your old self. And for me, it was that thing that I'm very grateful because in the looks department, I'm thankful for my genes, for good genes, but I look exactly like my parents. I am the split image of my parents, and I look exactly like my mom. However, the bottom part of my face still made me see my dad and still made me see old parts of who I was. So for me, I just wanted to get the bottom of my face. Everything else is still me, still mommy, but now I'm like in the fullest version of myself with chipping down and softening that jawline and a little lip lift.
I think that's interesting because people can look at us and look at whether it's our social media personas, because they are, let's be honest, all of us with our social media or see us on programming like this, and we think, wow, God, they look fantastic and they've got it together and they're confident and, but, I have the same sort of insecurities and that imposter syndrome too, where, I look in the mirror and go, I don't necessarily like who I see. And sometimes it's more than just that physical.
Yes.
There's an emotional side of that too.
I'm so glad you spoke on that because for me, that was part of the reason why I did not share with a lot of people of what I was doing. I had a very small handful of people that I did because sometimes, everyone wants to give you their opinion. Oh, you look beautiful. I think you don't need to change anything, blah, 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 blah. But it's an internal thing. It's an internal and it's a mental thing. And no one knows what it's like to live in your skin, to live in your body, to live in your spirit, to live in your mind. So it's like, you know what you need to do for you. And that's how I am when it comes to anything within my life. And I think because growing up and my parents forced their opinions on me and their ideals, and although they came around, I think that's why sometimes I do have a little bit of an issue of authority because it's like no one knows what I need to do for me. So that's why I really don't like involving a lot of people's, I'll take into consideration my close loved ones. And I'm thankful that they were too supportive of that. But it's for me, it's not for anyone else. It's just for me to feel good.
And how are you feeling?
I feel amazing.
I
feel amazing.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
And again, I'm sort of, I've just said, it's annoying when people do this. To me, you've always looked amazing.
Thank you.
But it is so much, okay, you can tell me I look amazing until the cows come home. If I don't believe it, if I don't feel it, then it doesn't matter. Elle magazine could come and say, Vogue could put me on the cover and say, people's sexiest man alive. But if I don't see it, what's the point?
Because at the end of the day, when I'm in front of that camera, only I know how there's like that 10% of me that's holding back because I'm in my head thinking about how's my angle, how am I looking. So it's like, it really shows, and that's the difference from where I am now from where I was last time. Last time I knew that there was still a bit of hesitation within me and, how I was presenting myself. And now I'm a little bit more. But also, I want to say to your point that people think that cosmetic surgery is really just all about the outside. No one really talks about the process. And the process for me, it brings up a lot of your trauma, a lot of your pain, a lot of your stuff. So that for me was a process because it's like I can say that I wanted a more soft and feminine look, but I realized that what I really needed and what I really gained from the process was feeling more softer and feminine inside, how to be vulnerable with myself, how to be vulnerable with others. And that's the part that I was not thinking that was going to happen. And that was the biggest transformation for me.
The emotional. Really?
Yes.
It's so true, though. In a way, you're right. I mean, we as a society say, cosmetic surgery, it's all about the looks. It's about their ego, they just want to, but there is a lot of trauma in what makes us, when I say look in the mirror and say, I don't like who I'm seeing back at me, that's a lot more than just that cosmetic and, whether, I've lost 40 pounds or, whatever. But there is a healing in this.
It's so
and I can
healing.
sense that from you.
And for me, it wasn't that I don't like, it was just that it just didn't fit and feel right for me. Like when I would see myself and when I would think about the person that I always imagined myself to be before I transitioned, it just still didn't, it was like the puzzle didn't fit. So it wasn't really more so that I didn't like myself, I wasn't liking how I was looking, it was that it just wasn't feeling aligned with who I am.
I think you just raised a really, really good point about how we as society are very quick to sort of form our opinion on what we see on the outside. And then you add in, your lived experience as a trans person versus mine as a non-trans person. So we've been fed our entire lives, narratives, whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you're a Muslim, whatever. But we've essentially, somebody recently said that they felt groomed by straight people their whole life. You know how there's a lot of people out there who like to say that any of us in the queer community are some sort of predatory groomers. Meanwhile, we're the ones that have been groomed to be heteronormative, that straight world. So it's a very interesting point that you bring up about all of this. And I'm so, so glad that you are vulnerable enough and honest enough to come and sit and chat, not just with me now, but in what's coming up on What's the Jeuge, to be your real self.
Yeah.
It matters. People need to be, we need to be ourselves now more than ever.
Our most raw, pure, vulnerable, authentic, expressive selves. We really just need to bring all of who we are to the surface and just let it be. And to let others figure it out on how to manage and how to deal, because I do realize that when you do take the time to do the work on yourself and when you do take time to really step into yourself, it shakes the table a bit. And I've come to learn that that's not my issue, nor is that my problem. It's a thing called therapy, and I'm so glad that I've invested in it, and I think that that's something that other people should do if they feel that people have an issue with them expressing their being.
Thank you, gorgeous. Thanks for having me on as your first guest.
Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being my first guest.
I would have been insulted if I wasn't.
Oh, you're always number one on the call sheet, Carl. Well, thank you for joining us. For more episodes like this, please check us out at pluslikemedia.com. See you soon.